It is late. The house is quiet. The world outside is shut down for the night. But your mind is still running. If you are listening to this, it is likely because the usual advice hasn't worked. You have tried counting sheep. You have tried white noise. You have tried telling yourself to just relax. But the engine in your head is still turning over, replaying today's mistakes or pre-calculating tomorrow's risks. I want you to know something right now before we begin. There is nothing broken in you. What you are experiencing right now, this racing heart, this busy brain, this inability to downshift, is the standard operating procedure for a high-powered, neurodivergent nervous system that lacks an off switch. You are not failing at sleep. Your biology is simply doing what it was designed to do: remain vigilant. For the next little while, we are not going to try to fix anything. We aren't going to do complex visualizations. We are simply going to look at the mechanics of your own nervous system. We are going to feed your analytical brain some low-stakes clinical data so that it has something to chew on while your body catches up to the idea of rest. You don't need to memorize this. You don't need to take notes. If your mind wanders off, that is fine. Just let the information wash over you. Let's begin by understanding the machinery currently keeping you awake. The human autonomic nervous system operates on two primary tracks. They are often described like the pedals in a car. There is the accelerator and there is the brake. The accelerator is your sympathetic nervous system. This is your mobilization system. It is ancient evolution designed for immediate survival. When this system is activated, even slightly, your body floods with specific neurochemicals designed for action. For the neurodivergent mind, particularly the late diagnosed adult who has spent decades masking and overachieving, the sympathetic nervous system is often stuck in the on position. It is a gas pedal that is slightly depressed 24 hours a day. When the sympathetic system is active, your pupils dilate slightly to take in more information. Your heart rate increases its baseline rhythm to pump oxygen to your major muscle groups. Your digestion slows down because processing food is not a priority when the body believes it needs to fight or flee. Crucially, when this system is running, the thinking part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex responsible for logic and long-term planning, gets quieter. Instead, the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, becomes highly sensitive. This is why at 2 a.m, a small email from your boss yesterday feels like a catastrophe. Your logical brain is offline, and your threat detection brain is running on high alert, fueled by residual adrenaline. This is a physiological state, not a character flaw. To sleep, we need the other system to take over. We need the brake pedal. The brake is the parasympathetic nervous system. This is often called the rest and digest system. Its job is conservation and recovery. The primary highway for this recovery system is the vagus nerve. It is the longest nerve in your autonomic system, wandering all the way from your brainstem down through your neck into your chest and wrapping around your abdomen. When the vagus nerve is toned and active, it sends a signal to the heart to slow down. It tells the lungs to breathe deeper and slower. It tells the gut that it is safe to digest nutrients. The challenge for the high-functioning neurodivergent brain is that the transition from sympathetic to parasympathetic is rarely smooth. It is often jerky, or it doesn't happen at all. You lay in bed, physically exhausted but neurologically wired. We cannot force the parasympathetic system to turn on with willpower. You cannot command yourself to relax. Trying hard to relax actually activates the sympathetic nervous system more. The only way to engage the brake is through indirect signaling. We have to convince the body through physical sensation that the threat has passed. We do this through subtle shifts in physiology. The first shift is the exhale. The sympathetic nervous system is linked to the inhale. The parasympathetic system is linked to the exhale. When your exhale is slightly longer than your inhale, it sends a mechanical signal up the vagus nerve that says, we are safe enough to breathe out slowly. Let your next breath out take just a second longer than the breath in. You don't have to count. Just let the air fall out of you slowly. Another signal is gravity. When the sympathetic system is running, your muscles have a microtension in them, ready to spring up. You are holding yourself away from the mattress, hovering slightly. To signal safety, we surrender to gravity. We let the mattress take 100% of the weight. We stop holding up the shoulders. We stop holding tension in the jaw. We let the heavy bones of the hips sink downward. We are signaling to the ancient parts of the brain that we do not need to run. Let's return to the data. Studies show that individuals with high-functioning ADHD often have delayed circadian rhythms. Your biological clock may simply be set later than society demands. Furthermore, the neurodivergent brain often burns through dopamine rapidly during the day. By nighttime, a dopamine trough can lead to a sensation of restless dissatisfaction, a feeling that you need to do one more thing before you can rest. Knowing this changes nothing about the hour on the clock, but it changes your relationship to it. You are not awake because you are bad at life. You are awake because your neurobiology is seeking equilibrium. As you lie here, your body is slowly attempting to clear the remaining cortisol from your bloodstream. The liver is processing the adrenaline of the day. It is a slow chemical process. It cannot be rushed. Your only job right now is to provide the container for that process to happen. You are simply waiting for the machinery to cool down. There is no rush. There is no threat here in this room. There is only the slow, rhythmic operation of your own biology, shifting gears, gradually, eventually, moving toward rest. Let's look at a concept we call somatic armoring. For a man living with late-diagnosed ADHD or high-functioning anxiety, the world is often a sensory and social minefield. To navigate it, you have likely spent decades masking. You have learned to sit still when you wanted to move. You have learned to filter your speech. You have learned to anticipate criticism. Physically, this masking manifests as chronic muscular tension. This is the armor. Your trapezius muscles, the ones at the top of your shoulders, stay slightly shrugged toward your ears. Your masseter muscles, the powerful muscles of your jaw, stay clenched. Your psoas, the deep core muscles that connect your spine to your legs, stay shortened, as if you are ready to bolt from a room at any moment. When you lay down at night, you take the mask off, but you cannot easily take the armor off. Your brain knows you are safe in bed, but your fascia, the connective tissue that wraps around every muscle in your body, has set itself in a defensive posture. This is why you might feel a strange restlessness in your legs, or a tightness in your chest that doesn't seem to have a logical cause. It is not a thought. It is a physical memory of the day's stress. To dissolve this armor, we look to what Dr. Stephen Porges calls the ventral vagal state. This is a specific branch of your nervous system that is only accessible when the body feels truly unobserved and unthreatened. By simply acknowledging the tension in your jaw right now, you are practicing interoception. This is the clinical term for sensing the internal state of your body. Research shows that the more we practice interoception without judgment, the more the brain allows the nervous system to downregulate. You aren't fixing the tension, you are simply witnessing it. And in the witnessing, the armor begins to thin. Now let's consider what is happening inside your cranium while you lie here. While you are awake, your brain is a high metabolic engine. It produces a significant amount of cellular waste. In a neurodivergent brain, where the quote-unquote filters for incoming information are often wide open, the metabolic load can be even higher. You are processing more data more intensely for more hours of the day. This is where the glymphatic system comes in. This is the brain's internal waste clearance pathway. Think of it as the nighttime janitorial crew. The fascinating thing about the glymphatic system is that it only functions at full capacity when you are in a state of deep rest. When you transition into sleep, the space between your brain cells actually increases by up to 60%. This allows cerebrospinal fluid to flush through the brain, clearing out metabolic byproducts like amyloid beta. Your busy brain at night is often just the engine still hot from the race, waiting for the coolant to circulate. If you find yourself thinking about a project or a conversation from 3 years ago, Recognize it as background noise generated by an engine that is cooling down. It is not you thinking, it is your hardware processing the day's cache. As you listen to the sound of this voice, imagine that janitorial crew starting their shift. They are not in a rush. They have all night. Their job is to clear the fog, to tidy the neural pathways, and to prepare your unmasked mind for a fresh start. You may notice a slight heaviness in your eyelids. This is a signal that your adenosine levels, the chemical sleep pressure that builds up all day, are finally overcoming the last of your cortisol. This is a biological inevitability. Your body knows how to do this. It has done it every night of your life. You don't need to help it, you just need to get out of its way. The bed is firm beneath you. The air in the room is a few degrees cooler than your body. The pulse in your neck is steady and slowing. You are transitioning from the doing mode of the masculine world into the being mode of the sacred balance. There is nothing left to solve tonight. The science of sleep is taking over. Let's look at why your brain seems to turn on the moment your head hits the pillow. There is a specific neural circuit responsible for this, known in clinical circles as the default mode network, or the DMN. Most of the time, when you are working, driving, or solving a problem, you are using your task-positive network. This is the part of the brain that is, quote, on the job. It is focused on the external world. However, the moment you stop, quote unquote, doing, the brain switches to the default mode network. The DMN is responsible for self-reflection, autobiographical memory, and imagining the future. In a neurotypical brain, this switch is like a gentle toggle. In the ADHD brain, the DMN is often hyper-connected. When you lay down to sleep and the external tasks disappear, your default mode network doesn't just turn on, it revs up. This is why you suddenly remember a specific social awkwardness from a decade ago, or why you start mentally building a new business plan at midnight. Your brain isn't trying to annoy you, it is simply entering its natural state of internal wandering. The secret to quietening the DMN is not to fight the thoughts. Fighting a thought is a quote-unquote task, which only keeps you awake. Instead, we acknowledge the DMN as a background process. Like a radio playing in another room, you can hear that it's on, but you don't have to listen to the lyrics. As we sit with this clinical reality, notice if your mind is trying to fix your thoughts. If it is, simply label it. That is my default mode network. By labeling the process, you move from being inside the thought to being an observer of the biology. This shift in perspective is a somatic release. It allows the prefrontal cortex to finally begin its power down sequence. Now, let's discuss the timing of your internal clock. For many men with ADHD, the standard early to bed, early to rise narrative feels like a constant failure. But research into chronotypes suggests that neurodivergent individuals often possess a delayed sleep phase. Your biological day is essentially shifted 4 to 5 hours to the right. While the rest of the world is winding down at 9 p.m., your brain may be experiencing a second wind of clarity. This isn't a lack of discipline, it is a genetic variance. Furthermore, we must look at the role of dopamine. Throughout your day, you have been hunting for dopamine to stay focused and productive. By late evening, your levels often hit a trough. This low dopamine state can feel like a restless itch, a sensation that you haven't done enough today. This not enoughness is a chemical signal, not a moral truth. When you feel that late night urge to check your phone, scroll through news, or start a new project, it is your brain trying to, quote, self-medicate that dopamine trough. But here is the science of the sacred balance. By choosing to stay in the darkness, by choosing to let the boredom happen, you are allowing your dopamine receptors to reset. You are practicing sensory deprivation in a controlled, clinical way. As the lights stay low and the room stays quiet, your pineal gland begins the slow secretion of melatonin. This isn't a sedative that knocks you out. It is a sleep onset signal. It is the official closing time notice for your nervous system. Listen to the rhythm of your own breathing. Notice the slight coolness of the air as it enters your nostrils, and the slight warmth as it leaves. This is the only task your brain has left. Everything else, the projects, the debts, the masks, the unread messages, can exist in the default mode network for now. They are being cataloged. They are being filed away by the janitorial crew we discussed earlier. You do not need to supervise them. You are safe to be quote-unquote boring now. You are safe to be still. Let's move our attention to a sense you likely use every second of the day without realizing it. Proprioception. While we are taught that we have 5 senses, we actually have a 6th, much more grounding sense. Proprioception is your body's ability to perceive its own position in space. It is governed by sensory receptors in your muscles, joints, and skin. For the neurodivergent man, the proprioceptive system is often, quote, under-responsive. This means your brain doesn't always receive a clear signal of where your body ends and the world begins. This can lead to a sense of, quote, floatiness or physical agitation, a feeling that you are vibrating just slightly above the bed. This is why many men in our community find relief in heavy blankets, high-pressure hugs, or even the feeling of a heavy dog sleeping at their feet. This isn't just a preference for comfort. It is a clinical intervention. When you apply deep pressure to the body, you are stimulating the proprioceptive receptors. This flood of quote-unquote tactile data does something remarkable. It forces the brain to shift from a state of quote-unquote vigilance to a state of quote-unquote embodiment. The brain receives a clear, heavy signal that says, I am here, I am solid, I am safe. As you lie there, try to consciously heavy your limbs. Don't just relax them. Imagine they are made of lead. Feel the exact points of contact where your calves meet the sheets, where your shoulder blades press into the mattress, where the back of your head is supported. By focusing on these points of pressure, you are giving your overactive brain a somatic anchor. You are grounding the electrical energy of your ADHD brain into the physical mass of your body. You are no longer a floating set of anxieties. You are 200 pounds of bone, muscle, and quiet potential held firmly by the earth. As we descend deeper into this hour of rest, we should address the gatekeeper of your consciousness, the reticular activating system, or the RAS. The RAS is a bundle of nerves located in your brainstem. Its primary job is sensory gating. It decides which pieces of information are important enough to reach your conscious mind and which ones can be ignored. In a neurotypical brain, the RAS is an efficient filter. It ignores the hum of the refrigerator, the tick of the clock, and the distant sound of traffic. But in the neurodivergent brain, the gate is often stuck wide open. Your RAS struggles to prioritize. To your brain, the sound of a dripping faucet carries the same threat level as a fire alarm. This hypersensitivity is exhausting. It means your brain has been, quote, working overtime all day just to filter out the noise of modern life. Right now, in the silence of this room, your RAS is finally allowed to clock out. By listening to this narration, you are giving your RAS one single, low-stakes stream of data to focus on. We call this auditory anchoring. Because this voice is steady, predictable, and non-threatening, your brainstem begins to lower its guard. The gate is slowly closing. The external world is being filtered out. You are moving into a low bandwidth state. In this state, your brain begins to produce theta waves. Theta waves are the gateway to the subconscious. They occur in that liminal space between being awake and being asleep. In this theta state, your sacred balance is restored. You are not your diagnosis. You are not your to-do list. You are a biological system returning to its factory settings. The machinery is cooling. The gate is closing. The weight is holding you.